people suddenly had an avenue to hear this music that you couldn't hear anyplace else. So if LAV got on the air and said, look, this is really cool, here we go, this is it, and it just they broke all of that stuff. They did. It was you know, I wasn't a part of it at that point. I was just there listening to it. You know, I was like anybody else, and that is the magic that the radio station had. It exposed so much music to so many people.
We had a complete understanding, probably because it was working. But if I walked in that morning and I could be red-eyed from partying the night before or staying up all night listening to music, but I could walk in with that look on my face and he would go, I don't even need to hear that. Whatever you got, let's add it. And Tuesday would be the ad day and we add it. We were heroes with the record labels because we were playing bands that other stations were not.
Kevin did a stand-up act at a place called the Comedy Den here in town. The place has a storied history. Ask any comic that was working the circuit in the 80s and they will have wonderful stories for you about this place.
Well, initially when Kevin was being listened to by literally some of the talent of Chicago heard him first. The Steve Dahls and Jonathan Brandmeier, they were listening and they were always looking for, just like we look for new innovators and new startups today, at that time it was new talent.
I think I crossed over into fan to stalker. Was one time at a tavern tour, Kevin was up on stage performing, and he looks out in the audience, and I'm standing out there waving at him, and he looks back and looks back up. He did a double take, and it's like, I think that's where it went into that realm of what I call stalkerdom.
A matter of fact, I was at home, and I was going on his website just check him out, see what he was doing, something stupid he was doing. It was on his webpage. I was like, wow. So when I called him, I said, man, how you feel, man? He told me I'm doing okay. I said, how come you didn't tell me? He says, you know what, if I had to call you, I'd have to call the other 14 people. So he said, I'd rather for you guys to find out on my webpage than tie up my phone lines because I got to pay extra for call waiting because if one of the buzzes, I got to pay extra for that. So I was just waiting on you to look at the webpage. So we all found out at different times. But then after that, he's still a moron.
You know, there were some really great shows. I can't say if our show was good. I mean, I think we did an okay job. But it's one of hosting the shows with Kevin and then having my own moment in time where I was, on radio was one of the most fun memories, one of the best jobs I've ever had.
There are morning drive guys, and there are the few nationally syndicated people. And that's more talk radio. It's not music and comedy. And sadly, there's no place for that anymore.
So, in closing, I got a lot to say. Let's say it in a documentary.